Hello gorgeous ones, I'm back again with another free reading this week, and I'm coming to you live on location from school holiday fun. So I apologise for being a little bit later than planned today. I have spent the last hour or so roaming around trying to find somewhere that is both quiet, out of the howling wind, and also has enough internet to go live. So I apologise for the delay. I think I found the solution. I'm in my car, and yeah, hopefully we can keep enough of a connection to stay live today. Thank you for joining me. What I'm going to be doing today is going in to tune into our appendix, which was a request of one of our beautiful viewers, Belinda Kate, last week, and when I was talking about the lymphatic system and the tonsils. So it seems we've got a bit of a dodgy connection, so I'll just bear with me and we'll get there. So the appendix it's a absolutely perfectly timed question to talk about the appendix, because as it turns out, it is part of our lymphatic system. The tissue that surrounds the appendix, the mouth of the appendix, and the actual appendix itself is actually lymphatic tissue, lymphoid tissue. It's a part of our immune system. So it's not a useless organ. That is what it's believed to be for many years, hundreds and hundreds of years. They've believed that because we can remove an appendix and we don't die, unlike, say, the brain or the heart, that it doesn't serve a purpose. But this isn't true. The appendix is a small sausage-like organ that it sits right below where the small intestine joins the large intestine, and it sits in this spot specifically below the joint at where the small intestine meets the large intestine, so that it can store bacteria. So that's actually its role. So as humans, and we may think, ew, bacteria, that's horrible, but no, and to very badly misquote Shakespeare, bacteria is neither good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. We have this culture at the moment that the media are telling us that there is good bacteria and bad bacteria, and we want to kill the bad bacteria and take tablets of the good bacteria. And that's actually not the case. Bacteria is all good. In fact, we are more bacteria on a DNA scale. We have more bacterial DNA than we do human DNA in our bodies. And a lot of research is supporting this now, which means that we are essentially a bacteria having a human experience. So when we think about bacteria being all good, if all of the bacteria is good, what matters is that it is in the right place, in the right quantities, and at the right time. So we don't want bacteria to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and the wrong amounts. And that's all it is. So we just want the right bacteria. And this appendix is a little bit like a one-ended tube. So it's got a closed end and an open end, and it stores the bacteria, the really healthy bacteria that's supposed to be there in our small intestine, and particularly in our large intestine. I apologize for the intermittent nature of this live video. I'm hoping the final video will be smooth, but it's coming in and out because my internet connection is very poor and I can't move my car at the moment because it's better than it was in other places. So, but it's the storehouse for our bacteria, and it's a little bit like a windsock, and I like to think of it like a windsock. A windsock is something that it catches the air. It tells us which way the wind is blowing. It's a messenger, if you like, of what the weather is going, what the weather is doing. And our appendix is a messenger too. So yes, it's a storehouse for bacteria. But it's not just a storehouse for our bacteria, it's also a storehouse for antibodies. So the bacteria that's there actually helps us to repopulate our gut with what we are supposed to have in there to help us digest and to help keep our systems healthy anytime we've had any kind of digestive upset or gastrointestinal problem. So it helps to repopulate the system so that we don't catch things like dysentery and very serious conditions, but also even mild conditions like food poisoning. It helps to protect us. It's a part of our immune system, and it helps to protect us. So this windsock is a good analogy because the appendix often acts as a messenger. It becomes inflamed, and what makes it inflamed? It's when the opening becomes blocked and it loses the flow of bacteria from inside. So it might grow too many bacteria. Although it's the right kind, it's where it's supposed to be, it can't do its job. It can't function to support us in that way. So it supports us in a very vital way of maintaining that gut flora that, as we know now, is so important for our brain health, so important for our, and it's so important for the health of our joints and every other part of our body. So what is it that this appendix is telling us? I'm going to try and get through it before I keep cutting out again. Let's just tune in for a moment. When we are out of flow in that area, which is, you can tune into your own body if you like. Your appendix is in the lower right-hand quadrant of your abdomen. So you can join in there and tune into it now yourself. But energetically, what's going on there when your appendix is out of flow is that the appendix is urging us to ask ourselves a question. And that question is this: where am I not showing up authentically for fear that I will be judged? But more importantly than that, and deeper than that, where am I not showing up authentically because I am judging myself as not being good enough, as not being smart enough, as not being popular enough, as not being the same as everybody else? Where am I judging myself very harshly for not being like everyone else, for being different? And our appendix is out of flow when we are judging ourselves as being different. And when we are really unsure and stifling that part of ourselves, that is our inherent nature, that is our uniqueness. When we stifle that part of ourselves, we suffer in our gut, in our abdomen, and often it can show up in somewhere like appendicitis or in the appendix, because we are holding down that fear that somebody might see me and see through me and judge me for who I am, because I'm not the same as everyone else. I'm different. I'm strange. There's something wrong with me. And it's that shows up as appendicitis. And it's why appendicitis often shows up in teenagers or young adults. It's why it shows up and often in women more than men, sometimes in men as well. But it's that deep distrust of our own nature, being good enough. It's that deep feeling of unworthiness and not being like everybody else, and judging ourselves as bad because of that. And so what we're being invited to do today is to look at where we are holding that judgment towards ourselves. Where are we not honouring our shadow parts and our quirks and differences, at least the same as we are honouring the parts of us that others approve of? And that is what our appendix is asking us to explore today. And I'm going to give up because my broadcast has been so intermittent. It's been very hard, and you can tell by my cheeks, I'm getting very hot sitting in the car. So I'm going to leave you today. Thank you so much for allowing me to serve you. And I hope that this actually starts a conversation around the appendix and its uses, because I think that this is a very much neglected and underestimated organ of our body, and obviously a vital part of our immune system. And it's there as again, a messenger. If we remove the message, if we have an appendectomy because of appendicitis or a suspected appendicitis, many are removed. Many perfectly functioning appendices are removed because some appendixes have been removed and yet were found to be perfectly healthy and functioning once they were removed, but the symptoms of appendicitis were still there. So that is very much a messenger. And one last question that it is also asking is where are we not making choices to serve ourselves? Where are we choosing to continue doing something we know does not serve us, eating food that does not serve us, drinking drinks that do not serve us, or staying in situations that are not serving us, simply so we can blend in and not rock the boat? So the appendix is asking us to find joy in our quirks today.